The relentless assault on the Caribbean by what began as Tropical Storm Melissa has escalated into a humanitarian and meteorological crisis, as the storm rapidly intensified into a hurricane and continues its agonizingly slow crawl, effectively parking over already saturated regions. Unlike typical tropical systems that move swiftly across the Caribbean, Melissa has been characterized by its excruciatingly slow pace, moving at a walking speed of just 2 miles per hour in some areas for days. This prolonged presence has created a continuous, lethal conveyor belt of moisture, making the sheer volume of rainfall a more catastrophic threat than the wind speeds.
Mira, así está el agua, mira, así está el agua, mira ya, mira la iglesia, mira, ya, a nivel de la persiana, mira, el final, mi amor, mira, aquí está todo inundado, mira, todo inundado, mira por donde le da el agua por la cintura, ya tú sabes, mira, nada,
¡Salgan de ahí! ¡Salgan!
Mira eso.
Ay, Dios mío. Es que tienen problemas, dándole problema a la gente.
The Dominican Republic has already endured the full force of this slow-motion deluge. The sustained downpour has overwhelmed rivers and drainage systems, triggering widespread and life-threatening flash floods across the southern and central parts of the country, with the capital city, Santo Domingo, bearing the brunt of the chaos.
Mi amor, Tamayo, ya no lo vuelvo a repetir.
José, mándale un mensaje a las autoridades, por favor. Estamos cansados de la vaina. Ay, mándalo. Presidente, a mí no me está subiendo de tierra.
Meteorological data is staggering. The capital's main airport recorded over 11.8 inches of rain in a 72-hour period, with some unofficial weather stations reporting even higher totals. The total rainfall recorded between Tuesday and Thursday alone surpassed 12 to 18 inches in the capital, transforming the densely populated urban center into a chaotic network of fast-moving, muddy floodwaters.
En Los Álamos. Dale like al like. Toquen la pantalla, mis amores.
Está feo, esto está feo. Esto está feo. Esto está feo para la foto, allá va el moreno.
Qué lionda, ellos ahí metidos.
Y yo nada,
Son asquerosos.
Vamos, no le he llegado todavía, el control es increíble.
The infrastructure damage and humanitarian toll are immense. The storm has claimed at least one life in the Dominican Republic, with another person reported missing. Nearly 200 homes across the country have been destroyed by the torrents, and floodwaters have isolated more than 24 communities, severing their access to aid and communication.
¡Ay, Dios mío!
¡Agárrate
¡Lía, el palo! ¡Ay, Simón! ¡Ay, Dios mío! Lía, quítate. Se iba. Miren, señores, que no piensan. Mira la caña. Se iba por la caña.
Footage from Friday, October 24th, depicted the surreal scene of residents in Santo Domingo wading through waist-deep, muddy water, while cars were abandoned on impassable streets, submerged up to their windows. Commerce and normal activity came to a complete standstill. Crucially, the water supply system has been severely affected, knocking out service for more than 500,000 customers, a profound public health threat in the wake of the flooding. In a proactive and decisive move, Dominican President Luis Abinader and emergency management officials activated a comprehensive relief operation. All public schools and government offices were closed in 12 provinces under alert. Authorities made evacuations mandatory in high-risk areas, with the Dominican Emergency Operations Director, Manuel Mendez Garcia, stating clearly that the primary goal is to save lives. Emergency crews, including civil defense personnel and firefighters, are working tirelessly to rescue trapped residents and clear debris, with the military deployed to assist in the most affected areas. The crisis is compounded in neighboring Haiti, a nation already grappling with profound challenges, including ongoing instability and a severe cholera outbreak. The storm's impact on Haiti has been deadly, with initial reports confirming at least 3 fatalities from landslides and flooding. An elderly man was tragically killed by a falling tree in the southern coastal town of Marigat, and a landslide in Port-au-Prince claimed 2 lives.
Lástima que nadie tomó las precauciones de inundaciones repentinas.
The humanitarian stakes are dire, with thousands of people, including those already displaced by gang violence, now struggling to find safe shelter. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs has warned of life-threatening flash floods and catastrophic landslides across southern Haiti. allocating $4 million in emergency funds to support over 100,000 vulnerable people through the provision of pre-positioned relief supplies, emergency shelters, and cash assistance.
¿Cómo te escondes? ¿Tú estás viendo cómo te escondes? Esta es la zona por
Este es el Conde, hoy 23, jueves 23 del 2025.
Mira cómo está eso, mira cómo está. Mira cómo está la gente, mira. Eso parece peor que un río. Mira. ¿Y dónde tú estás?
The peril for the Caribbean is now escalating rapidly. Hurricane Melissa has strengthened into a Category 1 storm, with 90-mile-per-hour winds as of Saturday evening, and is poised for rapid intensification over the weekend. Fueled by unusually warm Caribbean waters, forecasters predict it will become a major hurricane by Sunday, potentially reaching Category 4 strength by early next week. The storm's incredibly slow motion ensures a prolonged and devastating impact for the islands still in its path.
Y se me metió el agua, ya se me metió el agua. Dos veces. Esto es terrible, terrible, terrible. Se le dañan los trastes a uno, se le dañan todo. Yo solamente voy a pedir un trabajo para yo salir a camino con mis hijos. Ahora, si me quieren regalar un apartamento, claro, yo lo acepto. Claro que yo lo acepto.
A hurricane warning is now in effect for all of Jamaica, with hurricane conditions expected by Sunday or Monday. The forecast for the island is dire, predicting catastrophic rainfall totals of 15 to 25 inches, with localized amounts potentially exceeding 40 inches in the hardest hit areas of the mountainous terrain.
Luis Abinader, tiene que hacer algo aquí, Luis Abinader. Con la fiesta tiene que hacer algo,
¿Y para qué? ¿Para qué?
This scenario represents a worst-case flood event for Jamaica. From there, the storm is most likely to track northward and cross eastern Cuba from Tuesday into Wednesday, before threatening the Turks and Caicos Islands and the central and southern Bahamas. Cuba has issued a hurricane watch for its eastern provinces. The National Hurricane Center has issued stark warnings of catastrophic flash flooding and landslides expected across southwestern Haiti and portions of Jamaica, with the grim potential for flood impacts to extend into the remainder of the southern Dominican Republic. Officials are urging residents to remain vigilant, as the fragile infrastructure of the Caribbean remains highly vulnerable to any further rain events.
¿Cómo están los vehículos quedados? Yo ando a pie, no sé cómo voy a cruzar. Ya otra de chame, mi gente.
Mire cómo están los tres brazos, mire, 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 mire.
For the Dominican Republic, Haiti, and Jamaica, the immediate crisis transition into an immense long-term recovery process, the full extent of which will take a significant, concerted international effort to address. The immediate focus remains, however, on saving lives and providing essential services as the massive storm system continues its relentless advance.